Yeah, actually, most of you knows we are using one of the mind training called Will of Sharp Weapons, and the based on the theme that how overcome difficulty in daily life. So after here, we are mentioning a lot of trouble and problem in our daily life, which is caused by karma, right? As we talked. So the verse 47 is all these the karmas, and actually, yeah, the sufferings comes from karma, and the karmas comes from where? So caused by what? That's the talking here, this line. Chappelle, can you help me to read the 47?
When the sufferings of the householder befall me, it is the weapon of evil karma turning upon me. Like parents slain by their own cherished children, from now on I will rightly renounce worldly life.
Is this 47?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then maybe it must say 48. Yeah.
That's,
Anyhow, you read that? I can briefly mention it. So the householder suffering, it's not that talking about that which renounce the monks and nuns' life do not have suffering, right? So I have different suffering, but there are more responsibility as a householder. As more responsibility, that much troubles comes that automatic, right? So the renounce here is again actually is talking here via monks and nuns life. That's the saying, but and another explanation or another meaning, I can say less attach or almost no attach on our daily life. That's talking here, right? This is the verse 47. Okay, so yeah, please put it.
Since that's the way things are, I've seized the enemy. I've caught the thief who steals and deceives with stealth. Aha! There is no doubt that it's this self-grasping indeed. This charlatan deceives me by impersonating me.
Okay, so this is actually talking about the cause, which karmas arise from. Here, two things talking here is self-grasping and self-centeredness. The self-centeredness and self-grasping is the which main creating karma, either cause of suffering or cause of happiness. Those the different type of karma, right? Here we talk a lot of suffering, which is caused by karma. It should be negative karma. Those negative karma are caused by the self-centeredness and self-grasping, right? So I don't have to explain that much about self-centeredness, selfish, that's usually we talk. Self-grasping here, thinking that important I, usually thinking that how important I am, that's we call self-grasping, right? And then those are, as well as you have a self-grasping, thinking as myself, I is important and I is essential, then self-centeredness comes automatically by those self-grasping. So if you reduce those, like a thinking, I is the most centered and I is the most important, and as well as I is the essential, then all this, the self-centeredness or selfish, all the other mental negative emotion, mental defilements, all this manifested time by time because of self-grasping. So the self-grasping is the main one, right? So a simple way to explain self-grasping, think that usually we're not deep way to think. We feel that I'm not that much selfish. I'm a lot of benefiting to others. I'm a lot of helping others. At least I'm helping my relatives and parents and friends. But away the digging, more digging, then all this comes to that related to that you like to do that, right? So if you don't like to do that, then you will not do that. So everything comes related. Say yes, and then if you more narrow down, say, okay, my country is so important. Within my country, my town is important. That's how we think. Within my town, my relatives are important. My school is important. Within that, then it's more never my like my parents, my families are important, right? And if you look at the where you're dealing with your family day by day, then actually all the goes to that I am the important, right? So uh, because if your family is important for you, if family is that who you should more cherish, then why having a lot of trouble and fighting within family, right? So because it goes all that I'm not satisfied, it's not wish fulfilling me, they're not listening to me, right? And then they're not doing that way I want to do that. See, those are the reason having trouble in family, right? So, and then see, everything's related with the I, right? They're not listening to me related to the I. And then they're not following as I said it, how I know it, the CI, right? Everything is actually narrowed down. All the essential is the I. And this is the most important for us usually, right? Okay, so that's we call self-grasping. Okay, as far as you have a self-grasping, then selfish will be there, and then anger and attachment, jealousy, everything will be there. By time manifested with the condition, whatever condition you made it. And whatever those mental defilements are manifested or arises, then the actions comes more negative. That we call karma, right? So whatever here, the more talking about the cause, related here, I can explain a little bit about that, the Four Noble Truth, how we are explaining the world and our life or samsaric being, right? As you know, I think you might very well known about the Four Noble Truths. Some of you, or some of you not. But anyhow, that said in one of the sutra, illness must be understood, and it causes eliminated. And then 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 must attend that well-beings, and then must taking the medicine, taking medicine. So likewise, the it must understood suffering, and then eliminate the cause of suffering, then attend the cessation through by engaging path. This is the line, you say, right? But the example at the beginning, a must understood illness, or illness must understood, and it cost eliminate. So this is very simple and easy to know that as well as we have a very painful, immediately at the moment, our thoughts and everything thinking that I want to overcome by that, right? That painful, either you have a physical painful and mental painful, whatever you have it, suffering, at that moment, you really we're thinking that I must be free from that right now. So, and then after that, you trying best, right? because you recognize it's painful. Therefore, same as like once you know the suffering is suffering, then you must be try best that overcome by it. But so many times we are not realizing suffering is suffering, but some like a rough or gross level of suffering that we understand as like a painful, as like a yeah, distracted, those things. That's what we understand. But some different kind of suffering is difficult to realize or almost we not understand, right? So therefore, it's important to understand suffering is suffering, as you knowing the illness is illness, right? And then same motivation and same thought will become if you know the suffering is suffering, as you really wants to free from that illness which you realize, right? And then but after you realize that illness, and then you go to doctor, and the doctor must be checking that what is the source of this having illness, right? So if you do not understand the source of the illness, even doctor gives you medicine, or like a doctor realize that what illness it is, there could be many different sources or many cause kind of condition, right? So until you do not know the cause and condition of that illness, that medicine will be temporarily help, and then illness comes back again and again. Once you know the cause, then it will be forever you will free from that suffering, right? So therefore, that's the second order is understanding that the cause of suffering. And then I can go back a little bit. Usually we talks about many different type of suffering in order to understanding suffering. So if I ask you what is really suffering, what your answer will be? There's things we know, the painful and like unhappy and sadness, those kind of suffering that we know, right? So if you put it at one point, this is suffering, what do you want to say?
Extreme pain.
Extreme pain, okay. Anyone else?
The desire for things to be different than they are.
Desire is that's kind of like a cause of suffering. Itself is not suffering, right? Sometimes at the desire and the moment is pleasure feeling, right?
No, I mean the desire for things to be different than they are.
Things that different. Oh, you mean like a
this.
more ignorance talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
Repeatedly encountering all these pains physically and mentally just over and over and over again. I don't understand the cause of it.
Okay. So, okay, thank you. So, yes, those are like totally we know that it's suffering. But I can say what is really suffering is lack of independence. Do you agree? Right? It's no freedom. No freedom is suffering. So, good morning. Yeah. So, if you think no freedom is suffering, then we have to a little bit talk about what is really freedom and no freedom, lack of freedom, right? So, because many times we think, oh yeah, I have a free time, and I have so many things to write in, you know, like associated with the country laws, and like I have a house. There's all those things. Then what is it? I can go whatever I like to go, right? I can meet whoever I can meet. Those we consider as a freedom. But for me, it's still suffering, right? So therefore, as you're bringing is freedom, but not really freedom. Those are free from, yes, some kind of, you're free from job, free from some kind of pressure or control by a person or so on, so on. But actual, we are not really free, because always under the control of mental defilement. Always, every time, every moment, right? So therefore, I try to mention that lack of freedom is suffering. In Buddhist said both karma, we are under the control of the karma and mental defilement, right? But the karma is most the part of the Buddhist religious, who don't have to really mention here. So, but mental defilement, it's a secular, or it's a common for all human beings or every sentient beings, right? Therefore, we can take those. This is the cause and condition, or example that how the controlling us. So therefore, every moment, every time, we are controlled by mental defilement. As well as we are controlled by mental defilement, we are not really free. So, and then, and on the other hand, we'll say, we are not free from not dying, right? We are not free from not having illness. So we have to die. That's the things, right? So therefore, we are not really independent. We're not really free. And another way say, our life is decreasing momently. That's the one way that we are not free to staying long time, because it's decreasing. So you can more deep level way think what is suffering, then I can say this is way deep level. It takes time to understand it. That's true. So, but it is, if you understand this, until we are under control by mental defilement, until we are under the control by like decreasing in impermanence, so then we are not independent. Then we keep having suffering. That's what we're saying, right? Therefore, I like to say this is where my deep level the suffering is lack of freedom. And what is lack of freedom means. Okay. And another say, we never had independence. We never ever freed freedom. We never had freedom. So to correct my English, okay? You understand?
Yes.
Okay. So we never had freedom. That's what I like to say. So, and as well as we never had freedom, then suffering is always with us. That is the suffering, right? Okay. Then understanding those, you can go a little bit gross level. Once you are controlled by someone, you really feel that easily realize, I'm not free. And then you feel that it's too much pressuring, too much controlling, and then you feel so like painful and suffering, right? Because of not free. This is you can take example to understand. You can examine it with the human being who controlling you, or you are examining with the time, which is makes you limited. You can examine with that any pressure that you have in your daily life. So that's until you are by pressure by something else, then you feel suffering. That's the actually not freedom. So, and then understand those, then you can same reason bring to that deep level until you are under the control of mental defilement. You are not freedom, and it is suffering. Okay, anyhow. So,
Geshe?
Yes.
Can we say that suffering is an illusion? That like
Yeah,
if
that is
like if
suffering. Yeah, yeah, this is different directions, actually, different aspect to way to say it, right? So suffering is illusion, yes, but I feel it, right? It's painful. So therefore, maybe better stay with which is painful, than understand this, then we will know how to overcome by it. In order to how to overcome by it, then you can think suffering is illusion and how it is, right? So a little bit feel it, little bit takes to your time to understand suffering, not just immediate avoid from that. So
if like say like two people have the same kind of terminal disease, say two people have cancer, the same kind of cancer, one person is focusing on their suffering, their pain of the cancer, but the other person is saying this is my karma and I'm glad to be getting rid of this karma now. So they don't think of it as suffering, but more of like a joy that they don't have to possibly go through this again. So that's why I would say like some kind of illusion, like it's just how your mind frame is thinking, whether you're gonna stick with the suffering mind frame or whether you're gonna stick with the this is karma that I could actually just go through and get rid of, so I may have a better life in the future possibly.
So at that point, I say, okay, it's not really illusion then. It's whoever thinks it's my karma and makes more light or suffering, still feel suffering of painful, and who do not think that they have a more additional suffering, that's all different. So who do not know or who do not think it's my karma, they have additional suffering by mental, who think it's karma, the big power of the mind or power of the accepting those suffering makes you more easier and lighter feeling or suffering. Otherwise, both are suffering as the same. But they're thinking it's my karma. It's really help you to not having the additional suffering, and whatever you are feeling right now, it makes more lighter, but it's not help you overcome by it forever, right? So therefore, understanding its karma, we are accepting it's that my fault, and then we knowing that my fault. And next step is we must have those kind of thought and intention. I shouldn't be created negative karma because of I'm having suffering now. That's kind of should happen. If you do not move forward like this, then just thinking it makes you more relaxed at the moment, but not overcome by suffering and mental defilement and so on, right? So yeah, that's possible. Is it?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So now, yeah, that's Buddhist actually talk suffering at the way beginning a lot because we do have a solution, right? Therefore, we're mentioning suffering. If we do not have a solution, then mentioning suffering makes you like an additional suffering, right? This is no reason to hear that, no reason to think that. So, but as far as we have a solution, then good to know it. It's important to know it. So therefore, you can reflect it again on that. What I mentioned is lack of freedom is suffering that I like to say it. It's a deep way, right? And those suffering, which is lack of freedom, is actually not yeah, we feel it's freedom, but still not freedom, right? So, and because of we are controlled by the mental development and self-grasping, that's of which I mentioned earlier. So therefore now next we should know that cause of suffering. This is always important, right? If you have a trouble in your daily life, just expressing your emotion, which have in the moment, it's not helpful. Before you express emotion, you find it out what really source and cause and condition to having this trouble. There are a lot of help. So therefore, always need to take time to understand those. So what we're doing is, whenever we feel something at the moment, like a trouble or suffering or whatever we're feeling, we imitate expressions and say, why you said that, and you did this, and you did that. So, and then when we talk, then we finally realize that person is not really how you think it. So therefore, always take your time to find it out, the cause and condition. If you really wants to free from that suffering or that trouble, what you have at the moment, it's always good that look at the actual cause and condition. How comes this trouble? Who made this trouble? And even some person made this trouble, they might have a reason, and then find out what the reason to make this trouble. Those all find it out, the cause and condition. When you found the cause and condition exactly, that makes you really easy to overcome by this trouble, and not just temporarily, forever, right? So, but if you, before you investigate the cause and condition, just immediately you challenging with it, or someone challenging, that's actually you are walking on a dark place, right? Don't know where you goes, and then you might be hitting a wall, right? You might be fell down in the cliff, never knows, right? Therefore, as well as good to turn on the light, then you can walk easily. Same way, know the cause and condition of suffering, then it really makes you easy to clarify it, and then it's as I said, not temporary, it's forever, right? This is second step to good to know the cause of suffering. And then cause of suffering, as that's always I'm mentioning it, but here, regarding here, the saying the cause of suffering, that is self-grasping, right? But again, I'm not talking karma, but here, even you don't believe karma, as well as you know the mental defilement and self-grasping and try to overcome by it, then you will free from suffering. Not necessarily always believe on karma, because even karma comes by that self-grasping and mental defilement. You are more try to cutting root, right? So then that's again, let me repeat it. So even you don't believe karma, it can be let you free from suffering, right? Freeing from suffering is not necessary to believe karma. As well as you know that our secular way or secular emotion, which is common emotion, those that the anger and ignorance and so on, as well as you know that and try to overcome by that, then you will be free from suffering, right? So because even, as I said, even karma comes from that self-grasping and mental defilement, right? Okay. So this is how we talks about the first line. Chipel, can you read the first line again?
Since that's the way things are, I've seized the enemy.
I seize the enemy. Okay, that enemy is now self-grasping. Okay, self-grasping. You know the self-grasping means? Which thinking I is so important. I is essential. This is self-grasping. And this is the main root of every suffering, right? Because how the process, let me repeat it again. The process here, as well as you have a self-grasping, then self-centeredness will be arises. When self-centeredness arises, then all this mental defilement, anger will be there, and hatred will be there, jealousy, and all the attachments, everything will be arises. And then it brings you more suffering. That's not, because those action, after that, action is almost negative, right? So therefore, as action is negative, then brings you suffering. They don't have to go really logic and religious. It's in our daily life expression or experience that know, right? We are know by our daily life experience. So those is good to know. And then what the second line says here.
I've caught the thief who steals and deceives with stealth.
Say it again.
I've caught the thief who steals and deceives with stealth.
Deceive with step.
With stealth. Stealth is like sneak, like being sneaky.
Oh, sneaky. Okay. Again, you can see those same like a self-centeredness and self-grasping. Sometimes it's like a it's feel that it's supporting us in our daily life, right? The self-grasping, self-centeredness supporting us because we think it's necessary in our daily life to surviving and dealing with others. It's necessary. As well as you think it's necessary, same as like anger and attachment is necessary. And then also the self-centeredness, selfish is necessary. That until you think it's necessary, that you accept that it's supporting to you. So, but as well as you think it's supporting to you, and then you never investigate it result what comes, right? So the Buddhist saying, it looks like it's supporting to you, but always harms to you, right? So that's the saying it. That's I remember Shantideva's text. I don't remember exactly the line by line. The meaning is like this. So you can be friend with you can be refriend with the human being enemies, right? You can make them as excuse or sorry, some word makes friend again, or some gift makes friend again, or your handshake, all this makes friend again. But and once you become a friend, that enemy might be help you, right? So instead of harms to you. But the mental defilement, I'm taking as an example, the anger, one of the mental defilement, right? So if you being friend with the anger, but no matter how much you are cherished, or no matter how much you be nice, or no matter how you think it's important, but always harms, right? So it's always with us and always harms. That's the saying. Never benefit to us. The anger, right? Never ever benefit to us. Self-centeredness never benefit to us. So always harms. But we cherish a lot those mental defilement. So therefore, as well as you cherishing those and you try to keep those like a self-centeredness and anger and so on, then it's kind of like it's diluted to you, right? It's you feel it's supporting to me, but it's always harms. That's the how sneaking it. So it's saying it. So how much you understand or how much you agree with it, we can leave a discussion on it. Right? Conform and clear with it. Right? Let's say the anger, self-centeredness always harms. Sometimes we feel it's cherishing us, sometimes we feel it's supporting us, but never support, it harms. What do you think?
So is this suffering just is this suffering just for emotional deals rather than physical?
I will not say those are suffering, right? Those are cause of suffering, which I mentioned right now. Self-centeredness and all this mental defilement, mental afflictions are cause of suffering. Itself is not really suffering.
So if someone has a physical suffering say like like a terminal disease, like I was saying, and there's nothing they could do about the suffering, how do they handle that? What do they do? Since even if you know the root cause, say, okay, I was a coal miner and I got lung cancer and it's gone beyond to where they can't save me now. Now I have lung cancer. How do I deal with the suffering of the lung cancer?
Yeah, this is same that when you accident the car, right? Then it's like a trouble and like a it is like a problem. Then how you deal with it when you have car accident, let's say, when you had a car accident. When you have a car accident, then you can see clearly the problem is in front of you and how you deal with it.
Is it like suffering where I could fix it to where I could go to rehab, or is it suffering to where it's something long and drawn out to where I know I can't fix it?
Yeah. So at the time we think we're learning from that, right? We're learning from that and we try to not have again same problem. That's how we're doing it, right? You cannot fix what you had it right now. What damage is damage, right? But you can renew it and you can learn from that. So same way, whenever we have a disease or like a illness, then that's all this caused by mental development and so on. And then I must reduce those. I must eliminate those. That's the we're learning from suffering, or and then engaging, not have suffering in future again. Same way that not have accident again in future, to learning from that. That's your question.
Yeah, it almost seems like I'm getting confused because some of the suffering sounds like it's temporary to where you could, find the root cause and you could fix it. But some of the suffering seems like it's just gone too far and it's just you can't repair it. So I was just wondering, what do you do with that suffering that you can't repair, that you're already there and it's too late now and you only have a year to live? How do you go about coming to grasp with that? Or do you just try to do the best you can, like say, okay, now I just got to deal with it the best I can, and like I said, in next life, hopefully I don't have to deal with that next time?
Okay, beside talking about karma, I can say there are so many things you can do it. So let's say we have a really the cancer that we have it. So first thing is accepting it, right? So at the moment, what you have to do is relax and calm down. That's the first step that we have to do when you have a cancer, when we know the cancer, instead of too much stressful. It's never help. We have to relax and calm down. In order to relaxing and having calm down, so accepted it. There are many different ways to accept it, right? You can the Buddhists accept it by karma. Those different. And then right now, accepting it is because the condition of the body and mind, that's the how should be, right? So it's nothing that surprise to you that only happening with you. Everyone who has this body and mind, same as like you and me, that very much possible to have those cause and condition. I mean, like those suffering, that cancer. And then again, the cancer, the temporary cause, without talking karma, maybe that when we were young, we are not like take care of health, that possible, or we eat so many things we shouldn't eat, or we drink, or we smoke, or those are could be the cause and condition. So we as I engage those cause and condition, the result should become that's like cancer. That's where you can accept it, right? It's happening because I already had the cause and condition. When I will have more like a ability to stop those I did not stop it. Now the result comes that the how it comes. So there's one way to accept it, and after you accept it, then more you can use that technique, giving and taking, right? So that mind training. So whoever in this world never had this kind of disease, never had that kind of cancer, my cancer will be subdued of all sentient beings' sufferings. So you just compassionately dealing with your suffering and turning into the path, turning into the more positive. That's the second step that I can say it's good to do it. And third step, as was mentioning here, those disease comes from ignorance and careless, and then some other condition. Then I will never engage those cause and condition again, or I will try to eliminate those kind of cause and condition. So that's the we can think it. And then sometime having cancer is the poor practitioner actually. I can example that our monks in the monastery, they once they have a cancer, they really strongly asking that you should clarify with me. If I have a cancer, tell me I have a cancer. It's good for me, right? That's the saying. Why the saying it's good for me? So when they know the cancer or cannot cure it, so sometimes doctor giving 6 months, sometimes doctor giving 1 year. 6 months, 1 year, they think it's very good for them, right? So how is good for them? And they will feel that life, how much they're left over, like a 6 month and 1 year, they will spend 100% positive or accumulated the good quality or compassion and loving as much as they can do it. They will see there are no reason to fight other. There are no reason to collect a lot of money and a lot of financial. They will see there are no reason to take revenge. This is the help to knowing that having cancer. And then once you know that, no reason to take revenge, no reason to take those so many negative action in what we've done before, right? So then all this leftover time will be the go spent with the 100% positive, which is very good. That's all we can do it, right? And whether you and another things, whether you die by cancer or not, anyhow, we have to die, right? One day, who do not have a cancer, they have to die. Who have a cancer, they have to die. But who have a cancer, they're dying with the accumulating a lot of good things. They're dying with the not creating negative. It's much better than who do not have a cancer, who careless. Who do not have a cancer, they think, I still have a life. I can still remaining long time. Let me do whatever I like to do. They will do a lot of negative things, right? And then, as I say, who cancer will not do that. So this comparing, then good to know to have cancer, right? That's how train your mind to think those. What do you think?
Makes sense. I agree.
So that's how we can do it, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question about if you see an injustice and the anger arises because there's been an injustice done to someone else. Is that not good either? Because anger is arising. You see someone else suffering. Is that a problem as well?
Yeah, it is problem, right?
that, because, you know, if I see someone else, someone suffering.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah, when we see someone suffering, we have anger, that automatic, that's innately comes because, but we have to investigate. That's what he said, right? Having anger really help. Having anger really benefit to that person. Not really, right? And some people say, yes, it's a help because once I have anger, then I try to fight for them. The fighting is really help or not? Right? That's a question, right? Which comes from anger. Whatever actions comes from anger, it's not turned into the helpful. But still, without anger, you can help, right? So whatever with anger or without anger, if like I say, way to help will be the same, right? Like someone losing job, and then how to help is you might talk back to that person who like take out from job. That's the one solution we're doing it. Or you're finding another job for them. The solution we're doing it. Whether you have anger or not, what you're doing is this one. And having anger is like an extra causing problem. So while we're doing this with the anger, we will not do problem, right? So without anger, we're doing this, it maybe it turned better. Definitely with anger, not turn better, right? That's I think I can comfortably say that. Yeah. Yes, please.
So you really want to turn anger into compassion.
Yeah, anger couldn't turn into the compassion, but not have anger. Shouldn't have anger. But it's good to have compassion at the moment. Very good, right? Those two different mind. So it's like a not easy to do it, or how we're saying here, how we're talking here, right? So not have anger at the moment will depend on your daily practice. Time by time, day by day, if you try to reduce your anger, those help at the moment when trouble comes, right? Otherwise, it's as not happening as say no anger. So I think it's good to not have anger, but it comes, that you must say it. So I cannot stop that, you must say it. But it's really, really depend on we day by day practice. And then the same way, it's very good to have compassion. And again, it's really depend on your practice, right? Compassion, it not comes at the moment without any practice. So that's why he's always say compassion is not ready-made. So you have to make it. You have to generate it. But the generating it's not the only the way until its problem comes, right? Generating compassion daily basis, that's how we need to do. And try to stop anger daily basis. You have to reduce first, right? If you reduce the anger, then you can stop anger at the moment. If you never reduce anger, then never happening, right? So at the moment, so anger comes, that nothing can stop it. But at the point, even you are benefiting to other, anger is not help, right? So you shouldn't have anger, right? That's the saying. Again, I'll go back to Shantideva. Shantideva said, like even someone destroying your monastery shouldn't have anger. Even someone blame to your Buddha shouldn't have anger, right? And then is even the blame to your teacher or your religious or criticizing this and that shouldn't have anger. It's clear said that, right? But it means not saying that you shouldn't do anything, right? So it's saying good to not have anger. And then giving reason here. When criticize to Buddha and the damaging Buddha's image or statue, you shouldn't have anger because Buddha never had pain. Buddha never had suffering. Just damaging a statue, that's it, right? So just criticizing to Buddha, that's it. never had pain. And if your teacher and relatives are having pain or some trouble, you shouldn't have anger because they are having suffering by their own karma, which you cannot do it, anything. So you shouldn't have anger. So those are saying, so even we cannot have an anger who is blaming to the religious and my teacher and my Buddha, then of course we shouldn't have anger for anyone, whatever benefit, whatever circumstances. The anger shouldn't allow that, right? So that's said it. Yeah. So, and then saying here, I hear a lot of there, if we not have anger, we'll not do protest, right? Okay, we'll not do protest. We will not fight for our right things. It's wrong. I do not agree that. So without anger, you can fight. You can fight for your right things. Without anger, so you can do so many things, right? So not necessary. Without anger, you can do protest. So with anger doing protest, you see the result, what happened in the last few years ago. So without anger, if you do protest will be the peaceful. And then you can bring message exactly how you should bring it and how you want to bring it. That this is better way to protest. Yes, Jen? Yes, Chojin?
What you're saying is a wonderful ideal.
Mm-hmm.
I think we tend, maybe particularly in the West, maybe not, we tend to find ways to justify our anger. So to not even make excuses for our anger, but to embrace anger. Say in the examples that have come up with a cause, someone is suffering or someone's rights are being ignored, or even it is good for me to have anger because then I can vent this and be rid of it. But to me, it has come to, I keep having this picture in my mind of the fallout from an atomic bomb. And it just filters down on everyone around you. And there's no taking that back once that happens.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so that's how we think, and then those are the cause of suffering. And then who asked question last time? I don't see the name. Okay, anyhow, so here, because you might feel that we are talking that mental defilement is the cause and suffering is unhappy, sadness, worry. Yes, of course, we can direct link it, that we can see how mental defilement causing us suffering. But some suffering, like say cancer, even we don't have anger, even we are not too much clinging and grasping on it, it still continues having those kind of cancer, right? So then this is difficult to see. It's linked, but the condition is connected with the self-grasping. You can see that. So, but regarding that, okay. So anyhow, if you do not connect it with the self-grasping and self-centeredness, that cancer, and then one simple we can say is that as well as you have that connected with self-grasping and cancer, you will have a stressful and you will have a too much distracted with this cancer. You will never ever comes, that I can say, right? So then if you reduce the self-centeredness and self-grasping, that really makes you calm, right? Which I mentioned that first step. The first step that have to make calm, accepting. Another accepting is if you reduce that cause and condition, self-centered, you reduce the self-centeredness. You reduce the thinking I is important. Then you will be calm. You will be calm. That's one way, accepting and make calm. So I can, this is the additional on my my early answer. Okay. So that's those the mental defilement and the self-centered, self-grasping are sneaking us to bring more suffering in our daily life. To looks like it's supporting and friends. It's like a it's exactly like a friend who are who are being friend with you to your money and your power, right? Those are always looks like nice. Once your power's money is gone, no more friends, right? So it's be nice to you until your power, because they want to use it. And while they're being nice to you, they're using your money, they're using your power. So which you did not realize it sometime, right? So this is the exactly same. Those mental defilement and self-centeredness always sneaking way to harm us. And we never realize it is harming us. We always realize, oh, it's nice and benefiting us. We never realize, right? Same, that's those friends who make be paying with you the money and power. So what is the next line?
Aha, there is no doubt that it's this self-grasping indeed.
Oh, okay.
This charlatan deceives me by impersonating me.
Impersonating me, okay. What is really impersonating me?
Like to pretend to be you.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so again, the same cause. That's why I mention it. They are more like deceive you and sneaking you, and also sometimes they are that harms you by thinking, let's say, okay, again, what is good example there? Let's say you are anger and you are like a body which has cancer. Those feel that sometimes body is me, that angers me, that you feel it, right? That's how we think. I am doing it. And then you always same as thinking same as my anger and I same, then you cannot make differentiated between self-grasping and yourself. You cannot making differentiated between anger and yourself. Therefore, you think it angers me. Therefore, you're really much willing to accept that, and then you are thinking, I am doing it, right? So that angers become in persons, anger becoming as like you, that you are, that cancer body is become like you, but it's always suffering, it's always harms, right? So therefore, this is the one way to harms us, to always being with you. That's the okay, again, Shantideva said it here, the how mental defilements, earlier already said, never be friend with the mental defilements, right? Never be friend with the self-centeredness and self-grasping, because it always harms, no matter how much you be nice. And another way to say, they're always within your mind. those self-centeredness, and wherever you go, wherever you stay, they're always with you, right? But the external enemy is not always with you, right? You can avoid from your external enemy, or you can stay away from your external enemy in order to having trouble, but you cannot stay away from those mental defilement. It's always with you, but you can make separate if you're willing to do that. That's the good no. So as when you practice and reducing those, that you can make separate. And otherwise, it's not easy way to avoid it. Not easy way to being separated from those mental development within your mind, right? So who is always with your mind, which is always your mind. So that's the one things. No, in order to saying in person means it's always with you, and then wherever you go. So sometimes we change the place, but suffering is still remaining same. And we change friend, suffering is still remaining same, right? And we change food, suffering is still remaining same, because that mental defilement always with you. This is the reason. So no matter what, change the place, not really makes you special happy. So at the first moment when you are there, new and people who always cause you problem is no more seeing there. All the new people seeing there. At the moment you feel a little bit relaxed. As far as you have anger, as well as you have ignorance and attachment, again, exactly same problem will bring you where you move from. We have same problem you have, because wherever you go, the person is have a same, all this have an emotion, right? Wherever you go, those human beings have emotion same. And then those human beings have all this negative emotion has the same. The only that different is it's manifest yet or not. Only the different is like you are like it's affected or not, right? So when it's affected, they have already for shows you anger. They are ready for harms to you. They are ready for cause you trouble and problem. So therefore, changing place is not to find you the new peace and happy, right? And changing food as well, changing friend as well. Be with the same place, change your mental development, then your peace. Same friend, change your mental defilement, same peace, right? And eat same food, but change your mental defilement, and then same peace. That's how we gain the peace, right? So therefore, it's a never you will never find the peace from external. That's the reason saying that, because the which is taking your peace is always inner there. That's the saying, right? We kind of a lot of repeating, but it's good to repeat it. It's inner there, who's caused you, who always harms to you, who always makes you trouble, which is always makes you trouble is inner there. So therefore, you couldn't find happiness from external. So that's the reason saying that. So therefore, as we knowing that, then instead of changing place, instead of changing friend, you try to more change your negative emotion, then always goes peace and calm, right? That's how we said it. Okay. So, and then at the conclusion saying, now I definitely know that self-grasping is the main cause, right? But it means how much we know right now. Yeah, we hear it, not really know, right? So, but hearing this, self-grasping is the root of suffering. Self-grasping is root of all trouble and problem. So you just hear that, but I can say you do not know that. So knowing it, you have to investigate more. So just day by day, you're allowed to contemplating and investigate. Once you have a little bit of experience, then you will know that self-grasping is the root and root for all this problem. Okay, so here it's really confirmed with the Chandarakshita who composed this textbook, right? Is it Chandarakshita? No, not the Chandarakshita. Dharmarakshita, sorry, right. So Dharmarakshita composed this text. He saying with understand, say self-grasping is the problem of all. So, but where he's saying here the line, where we reciting the lines, big different, right? When we recite that line, it's just just like hear it. It's not really know it, right? So you hear it, new idea. So, but you really don't know. But Dharmakshita knows very well with the experience and with the practice and everything. That's the sharing with us, right? So therefore, one day when we read this line, should be read same way that Dhammarakshita reading it, right? So right now we're reading who really don't know, but the lines are reading. But after you practicing again and again, a lot of investigate, a lot of contemplating and examinations, then you will know. Then when you read that line, much feel better. So that's how we need to go. This is how we need to practice, right? Okay. So, okay, this is the verse 48. Any question on it? Yes, please.
Can you clarify the difference between self-grasping and self-cherishing?
Mhm.
Because I was under the impression that I'm maybe wrong, but that self-grasping is the perception of the self as an inherent existent entity. And
Mhm.
self-cherishing was the I'm important, my
Mhm.
needs need to be met. Am I wrong, or is
It is right.
Okay.
This is the right, yeah.
So the self-grasping that he's talking about is just the perception of I as a thing.
Yeah, it's self-grasping is, and another way to say it's like one of ignorance, right?
Yes.
Self-grasping, ignorance, therefore we have self-centeredness. So self-centeredness comes from self-grasping. Yeah.
And then so does the self-cherishing, where
Yeah.
if I exist, that means I want things.
Yes.
I need my
Yes.
The first mistake is I.
The first mistake is I. Yeah. First mistake is thinking I is solid. I is important. Therefore, I want everything better to me, right? Yeah, this is how. So is it it kind of like a slightly different there, right? Yeah. But sometimes it's possible that even people who eliminate self-grasping, but can have self-centeredness. If I talk about the Buddhist, like I say, Arhat, right? Arhat, who attend the Nirvana, they eliminate self-grasping, but they do have a self-centeredness. So until they have a self-centeredness, they cannot training or they cannot practice bodhicitta, which is benefit for all sentient being, right? So in order to do this, you have to reduce self-centeredness again. But why self-centeredness there? They only eliminate the self-grasping, but not the seed. The self-grasping seed is remaining there. Therefore, self-centeredness could be there. Yeah.
Is that because they still want for the cessation of suffering for all beings? That is a desire.
Yeah. They're completely free from suffering who attain nirvana, but they're still enjoying with their own pleasure. Oh yeah, this is very peaceful. I'm just free from suffering. This is just cling. I'm not really clinging. What I call they want to stay with this kind of peaceful long time. It's too much self-centered. Like I want peace. This makes me happy, but I want to stay with it long time.
So it's almost as if the renunciation of the self allows them to experience pleasure of that.
Yes. That's that different peace and different happy. That's happening it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So any other questions? Online?
Yeah, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so with anger, sometimes we think anger just comes, but if we really look, is it that we are calling anger? We are summoning anger to serve us. And with anger, sometimes we think, oh, it gives me more strength. Sometimes it gives us an additional tool, such as causing fear in other people. Sometimes we think, I am feared when I have anger. And so you said sometimes more effective without anger. I think sometimes you said wrath. I think you used the word wrath in very many, maybe a year ago. You talked about wrath being different from anger. So I'm just curious if we could explore anger more deeply and understand more about why anger comes. Do we summons anger, or does anger just appear without our control? And why there is a difference between, or what is the difference between wrath and anger? Thank you.
You mean wrathful? Wrathful, right?
I think
So-
I mean wrathful, but you spoke about it a year ago. I
Mhm.
cannot know it as well as you know it. Maybe you tell us, yeah.
The anger is state of the mind, one of the emotion. And then wrathful, what I mentioned is action, right? So having wrathful action is not always necessary come with anger. The wrathful action could be go with compassion. I mentioned that, right? And then why anger comes, that's our habit, right? Once it become a habit, without thinking, without intention, it comes, right? That's our natural habit. So the anger is one of our habit. It has a long time. Who do not believe previous life, since when a baby born, you can think there, since the baby have anger, the seed anger there, since there we build it continuous habit. That's the comes at the without thinking, without calling. Actually, we don't have to call anger. Anger is ready to come. So therefore, without calling, without thinking, it comes because of our habit. And then it takes time to have a compassion or not have love and kindness to other because we do not have a habit those. And how come this? And this is the, I don't know, I cannot say it's just natural, not really natural. Okay, so not really natural, but I can conclude with this habit. We not beat the habit good things, we build more habit bad things. That's how it comes immediately or instantly. Okay.
Yes. So would you say anger is learned or anger is nature?
I don't like to say anger is nature. Anger is habit, innate. Learn, I don't know what does mean really learn. Just habit and innate, I can say it.
Such as a baby will have anger without having learned anger. It's just innate.
Innate, yeah.
Yeah. But if you do believe in past lives, you could say it is still habit from past lives.
Mm-hmm.
No need to say it's learned. Always say innate.
Innate and habit, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. Learning anger. I don't get it. This okay, anyhow.
I think he's saying if a child were brought up in a setting where no one got angry,
Uh-huh.
where it wasn't part of anything they saw,
Uh-huh.
and grew up that way, could you get anger out of them?
Oh, I see.
Here's
Oh,
anger.
yeah.
Can you feel it even if they didn't already have it?
It's not like, it's like when we sleep, right? And someone comes and wake up, you can wake up. That's not really say you bringing the consciousness,
yeah, I agree.
right?
I
yeah.
might even be
Yeah.
paraphrasing.
So it's not really say you're bringing consciousness. It's already there, but moment asleep, then it can't be woke up. It's already there. So anger is there. When they meet with the condition, it's manifested. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very good.
Okay, if you do not have a question, then I can move to next line. Okay, what is the next line?
Now open the cup, raise the weapon of karma over his head. Continue.
That four line.
Okay, oh, spin the wheel 3 times fiercely over his head. Your legs of two truths spread apart and eyes of method and wisdom wide open, with your fangs of four powers bared, strike the enemy.
Okay, so now this line is talking about that path. The previous line talks about the cause of suffering, right? Now the path, how to eliminate that cause of suffering is talking here. So before I go with the line, I can say a little bit think. Like some the grass in your garden, you want to take it out, right? What do we, the wheat, what's a wheat?
That's weak.
Like we don't need the garden. Weed. Okay. So some weeds are growing with your garden. So you want to plant it, you want to clean it. So, and all the point you might think is taking all from rooted will be cleaned, but still not forever, right? So, of course, it's just cutting top. Cutting top is, we know that is not clean. Sometimes some people do. Oh, I don't like this grass, then they only cut the top. They don't know it grows again because root is there. And better, smarter people, oh, why not take the root? And then it will forever gone. But they forget seed is falling down there, right? So you take the root, the another will be grow because seed is there. So this is how we do. Some people just cut the top of the grass, which they really don't like when they don't like it. Some people take it the root, but some people knows all the clear seed and everything until not clear the seed, it will grow again, right? So this is the level to how to remove or how to eliminate the cause of suffering. So in our daily life, I can say the example is we always cutting the top of the grass when we don't like it. So we're not really rooted, right? Not taking out root or not cleaning the seed. So it's important to clean the seed. Then will you free from forever, right? Free from those, the mental development, and free from the cause of suffering forever. You can eliminate forever. So otherwise, always come back, always come back. So this is the how we need to hurt the or eliminate the cause of suffering, right? And but the path, the way to eliminate cause of suffering, and again, where we rely on our daily life is too gross level, or it's not really helpful, right? Say I can mention few things like my suffering cannot, my suffering and cause of suffering both cannot cleanse by my power, right? Cannot take out by my money, or my friends cannot help me to take all those cause of suffering and suffering, right? Even Buddha cannot take out my suffering and my cause of suffering, right? So sometimes our friends helping us to reduce the problem, but the halfway reduced, not the completed, right? So because you are the only who knows clear that suffering what you're experiencing now. So none of them. Okay, let me, you confused, right? Okay, let me say again, different way. What I try to say, of course, the cause of suffering need to eliminate the seed, not just temporary. That's the point, right? And then how to doing it, it's which is, first I will try to tell you which is not helpful to eliminate cause of suffering. right? So therefore saying your money is not help, your power is not help, your friends are not helping, your relatives are not helping, even Buddha is not helping. All those things are not helping, cannot help us to overcome by our own suffering, overcome by our cause of suffering. So if I say that, then what your challenges? You have any challenges?
How do you get to the sea?
Sorry?
How do you get to the sea? If we pull just the cut the pipe and then we just pull the root.
Uh-huh.
You said it's still a sea that is well. How do, as a human, get to the sea of suffering?
Yeah.
And, you know, without cutting it, almost really quick.
Yeah, we have to reduce the seed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we have to eliminate the seed. So yeah, so that's my question is here, like as I said, none of them, even Buddha, cannot help us to eliminate the cause of suffering, cannot help us to overcome by suffering. Even your relatives, your parents, your friends is not. When I say that, your friends is not, your relatives not. It is strong, but what do you think of that?
I agree.
Yes, please.
I have to then focus on what good I can do and compassion for myself to get through something that's difficult. So I guess giving more love and compassion, then something come back to me like a garden.
That's a lot of help,
Like,
yeah.
I tend my own garden.
Mm-hmm.
I care for it, I water it. So then I get a great harvest. So something comes back to me.
Mm-hmm.
It won't come back to me if I'm angry.
Yeah.
I'll have like more lessons to learn. Is that's how I see it. I don't know if that's a good way.
Yeah, I understand. So far, my statement is that none of them can help us, right? But I can bring you some discussion things. Say, okay, I have a financial problem right now, and my friends help me to give money. Solve that problem. Isn't you consider it overcome by my suffering? If so, then my friend can help me to free from suffering.
Well, that's a particular situation that would temporarily relieve some discomfort, but it doesn't take away the suffering that that person has for the clinging to money in that case, right? I mean, they can help maneuver, people can help you maneuver difficult situations, but it doesn't get to the root of that you'll still suffer the next time that situation comes up. People can't keep bailing you out.
Actually, my statement is both temporary and ultimately none of them can help. That's the saying.
The causes and conditions and karma that arose so that you'd have someone that will give you financial help in that moment, but ultimately you're reliant on your own karma, on the causes and conditions in your own karma for your happiness. Is that?
That's your own way to do it?
Well, just the recognition, as you say, to name it. This is to understand the problem. Okay, this is a temporary thing. Everything's impermanent. So in this moment, I receive some assistance. I love it. But that's not really the point.
Not. Yeah. So I'm making this statement strong because we are relying on so much for other to overcome by suffering. And when it's not happening, then we're too much sad. Therefore, keep that way. None of them can help. Yes, please.
So if you're saying that doesn't help.
No.
Dharma doesn't help.
Dharma can help. Yeah, Dharma can help. Dharma is your own antidote, your own practice, right? That can help. But it's clear to say, Buddha said that I cannot take your suffering as like I'm taking your clothes or thrown from your body. Right? I cannot share you my realization as my giving you some gift. Buddha already said that. So therefore, none of them can help to overcome by your suffering. So, and one reason, because they don't know you are suffering actually, right? So their assumption, they can assume, oh, you might feel that, but they don't know you are suffering. Who knows you are suffering clearly? Only you. None of them. Right? Who knows a little bit, as with the assumption that much they can help. The halfway or 10%, 5%, that much they can help you to reduce your suffering. But not the 100%. None of them can help you to 100% because they don't know. You are the who knows only your suffering. Then you cannot expect it. They should know my suffering. They do not have experience your suffering. How they should know then? Right? So they because your logic is they already had it, those suffering. Now they should know what I have painful through by verbal, through by my expression. Yeah, they can assumption, but still they do not have a exactly feeling how you feel it. That I can say impossible. Yeah, strong goes that way. Impossible. They do not know. So how you feel it. That you are the only who knows you feeling it. So therefore, you are the only who can overcome by suffering. Right? Who knows 10%, that much can help. Who know 5%, that much can help. Then not 100%, not 100%. So this is the first we should know. Right? Not expect it too much from other to have happiness, and not expect too much from other to take your suffering away. That's impossible. That's impossible. That's only you knows you're suffering 100%. Therefore, you are the only can overcome by it. None of them. That's why I'm saying it.
So we are responsible for how we get to the seed. How do we take the seed away from us so that the pain will be not quite as intense?
Yeah.
How do we extract the seed from our suffering?
Yeah, that's saying that you reduce self-grasping, right? So you're not cut the grass, not to change the food, right? Yeah, you sit down and reduce the self-grasping through by realization of like some antidote, we can say emptiness or impermanent or some other things there, right? So reduce your mental defilement time by time, day by day. This is all we are doing. Seed, yeah, cleaning seed. This is our final goal. This is our aim, right? But the way beginning, you cannot jump to cleanse it. You have to fix your physical actions, which is we call moral ethics. The first, you have to fix moral ethics, engage the moral ethics, fix your all these physical actions, verbal and body actions. This is the first step in order to cleaning the seeds, right? And then the second step, better build it concentration inside, right? And then learn more, and how much you learn, that much apply, meditate, and try to change time by time your inner enemies, the self-centeredness or self-grasping. So, possible or impossible in this lifetime to cleanse it? Both, yes or no? So anyhow, definitely we can reduce it. Reducing is big things, actually. You know, the seed, until you not clean the seed, it will bring back, but just reducing your anger is big change. It's a big change in our daily life. Very much less suffering. That's all we can do, 100% we can do in this lifetime. And then within years, we can do that. If you just really apply, practice properly, we can, within a year, you can reduce your anger, you can reduce your attachment, you can reduce those mental defilement is even self-centeredness, definitely do it. So reduce, as I said, the reducing brings you big different experience. Yeah.
So now this thing that you're saying about how, only we can actually eliminate our own suffering. That seems to be a little bit in conflict with practices like in mindfulness of the Buddha or Guru Yoga, where we're requesting blessings and whatnot to purify ourselves. How exactly do those two fit in together? Because it seems like you are relying on the other in some practices. So,
Yeah, the rely on Guru, Buddha, it's not help you to reduce your suffering. It gives you more energy, to strength to reduce suffering. For all the point, you have to do it. yeah, that's the how happiness. So okay, again, let me repeat the point here, that you are the who knows you are suffering only. I shouldn't expect it that much. Someone knows you are suffering 100%. How? They don't know, right? But how I know? But you can judge by yourself. How you know they are suffering? Do you know exactly they are suffering, how they feel it? No, right? Then how they know you are same, right? If you don't know that, then they will not know. So you shouldn't expect it. So you are the only 100% who is suffering. And you're the only one who can eliminate or overcome by that suffering. None of them. Therefore, not rely, not expect it to overcome by suffering from others. Just you are the one who can do it. Okay? So this is the point. And what path we have to apply that in order to overcome by cause of suffering, then I think this last two line, can you read again?
Your legs of two truths spread apart, and the eyes of method and wisdom wide open. With your fangs of four powers bare, strike the enemy.
Okay, the method and wisdom or true truth. This is the path, right? And it's too big, it's too bright, the method and wisdom. But if we go more like a specific method and wisdom, as taking example, the part of method is talking about the loving kindness and compassion. And part of wisdom is understanding reality. That's the saying. So the wisdom could be many, right? Even that how to deal with the person positively. This is wisdom also. Something you know better. Those are the wisdom, right? So therefore, the wisdom and method. So having wisdom, you have to study more to how to, and then many different perspective, right? You can learn many different perspective that how to overcome by your daily suffering. What is the really path? What religious talk, what scientists talks, or what non-believer talks. So you have to hear a lot, but couldn't conclude it that way, right? So after you hear, you have to pick up through by your investigate, which is really once. Then goes to apply practice. This is the part of the wisdom gaining, right? And then loving kindness, compassion is part of the method. So that's always. And I go with the compassion. Compassion is very much possible, can generate this lifetime, and which can cure 100 disease, 1,000 disease, which can let you free from all this suffering, which you have a problem right now. I don't know cancer, but like day by day, we have a lot of emotional attack and physical, through by the mental suffering, we have a physical suffering. Those can cure by compassion. And even very much possible that cancer could be. I can give you the Rinpoche as an example. Rinpoche had what called stomach cancer. Stomach, right? Rinpoche had a stomach cancer. And as soon as I hear that, I went there to California. So Rinpoche became very thin, right? So, and then, but his mind is so relaxed. Never ever worry. Doing whatever he does on a daily basis. doing prayer, and he couldn't do that much prostration as you did. So, but all things doing, and then he laughing, he's staying with us, no problem, very calm. So, and then the lot of treatments we did it like in California, the chemotherapy, what called chemotherapy, okay, chemotherapy, and then surgery, all this done, and now it's completely recovered. So you might say, okay, this could be the new the illness which can cures, or you might say that today's treatment is very, very developed, right? But even the treatments are very developed. I see many people passed away through by the same illness, right? Okay, whatever I try saying it here, the calm mind is lot of help us to cure the body, our physical illness. And then see, long time ago, His Holiness Dalai Lama has a surgery at the New Delhi, and then also at the time lights gone, so many problems happening. But after that, doctor give time, 1 month time to recovering those surgery. But His Holiness said within a week recover it, because his mental mind, compassionate and calm mind, within a week recover it. And then I think Rinpoche recovers all this cancer because I think his calm mind and a compassionate mind, right? Not only the treatment is help. So that's, I think. So that's the way the compassion even can help us to cure that physical illness. So this is very much dependent. And then not today, not only Buddhists saying that, many of doctors and scientists saying your calm mind is a lot of help to have good healthy, right? That's all everyone's saying. So therefore, that once you generate compassion, automatically you will have a calm mind. Not too much stress, not too much expect, because once you have a compassion, not too much thinking yourself, thinking more considering other, right? And then at the time, you will not have too much stress and what we call anxiety and depression. You will not have those when you have a compassion. So, and therefore, the compassion makes you really calm mind, right? And compassion makes you overcome by self-centeredness. And compassion brings you that reduce the self-grasping as well. And compassion's brings you a lot of the happiness in your daily life, right? So compassion makes you a better friend with the other. Compassion brings you makes you like a better make relationship with your relatives or others, so a lot of things goes with the positive once you have a compassion. And that's all we needed. You can decide it in your this lifetime. I only generating compassion in order to getting my own peace and bringing more world peace. I only generate compassion, none other. You can do that, right? So, but generating compassion, you should know also that connected with the many pieces they practice, you need a concentration, right? Even if it's not the compassion, but in order to having compassion, you need a good concentration mind. You need a mindfulness as well. You need a good moral ethics to generate compassion. Then you can generate compassion. Is very much possible and easier. Without this, like what we call prerequisite or causing condition, and just jumping on meditating on compassion, almost impossible. Those things you knows the proper way to generate compassion, and just dedicate your life only that try to generating compassion, not say Doing compassion, okay, not begin with the doing compassion. Begin with the generating compassion. There's two different. Not begin with the taking action compassion. No, it's impossible. So it's more take your time to generate compassion. Then action, let it come automatically. Don't have to attention separately. I have to do compassion to someone. It comes once you have a motivation is clear. Once you generate insight, everything comes. You don't have to worry, and it's included self-compassion. When you generate compassion to others, it's included self-compassion. Many of them they don't know. So many of them they don't know. They think I need to do self-compassion separate than compassion, generate compassion to all. That's not really happening. So if you generate compassion to all, self-compassion is included there. What does mean self-compassion means not torture yourself, bring more happy to yourself, not harms to yourself. That's self-compassion, right? And when you generate compassion to there, all cause and condition which you have a problem in your daily life are reducing same time, then why you need a self-compassion separately meditate on it? You don't need it. I'm saying 100% and confidently, you don't need it separate time for generating self-compassion. You just begin with the generate compassion to other, and it's include everything. This time I really strongly saying that because many people too much focusing on self-compassion, and then they're forgetting about compassion to other, and then finally they gain nothing, no happy. So therefore, that's, you think it, okay? I'm saying it's included, no separately need to meditate on self-compassion. Self-compassion is included. Okay, any other question?
Geshe, I know it's getting late, and this might be a long topic. So maybe we could discuss this next week at some point. But you just mentioned Rinpoche, taking a treatment with chemotherapy and everything. I've thought about this, and it almost seems like I don't know what I would do in that situation. Where is it like a self grasping of this physical plane to where you take these treatments to stay on this physical plane rather than to just let things play out and go back into the non-physical existence. So is that more of like a self-grasping and self-centeredness to where you get these treatments and want to stay on this plane, or is that you're taking full advantage of the time that you have here so that you could continue your practices and develop yourself?
Yeah, this is not two different things. As well as you develop yourself, generate compassion, and then you are reducing self-centeredness and self-grasping. You are just reducing cause of suffering, right? Root of cause of suffering. That's what I mean.
As far as taking treatments to try to cure yourself, is that like you're self-grasping onto this physical plane rather than letting things just be and not go throughout don't take the process of getting the surgery?
Oh, no. I'm not saying that. Yes, treatment should be do that. We need a treatment. But same time, if you have a calm mind and a compassionate mind, it's a lot of help. It's very much possible to cure. That's I'm saying it. So I'm not saying they stop with treatment.
No, he's talking about like, I think like clinging to this body. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, should I take the treatment because if you have the normal person's attitude, it's like, I want to continue to live.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much like not other oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So should I take this treatment because, I want to continue to live, or should I just kind of like let my karma play out? I think this is what this.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and if I take it to continue to live, is there some sort of self grasping?
Yeah, of course we should try to continuously live, but forward, that's too different, right? This we should continue to live for benefiting the other. We should continue to live for accumulating more virtues. We need continues to live as you have an opportunity that use for generating compassion. So that opportunity we will gain again or not, we never know. What we have it, we try to keep it and use it for more positive as a generating compassion and so on, so on. Then they were very much reasonable to live long, right? So if you call us troublemaker, then no reason to live long. Otherwise, it's very important to have live long because this life is, we say, very opportunity and the rare, never know attain again or not. And that point, yes, we should treat and then same time practice a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much then. All good stuff here. Oh yeah.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you. And next class, Anitendal will lead it. Next two class, I will be in Washington, DC. Then the follow Sunday, this Sunday and follow Sunday. And then other Sunday, I will come here. Okay,
And
thank you so much.
safe travels.
Okay.